Hello traders and welcome back to this video. Today I'm gonna go over the new smart money concept premium indicator, and I'm gonna show you how the settings works and how you can use the indicator. But first, make sure that you have boosted the script and favorite marked it. So let's go to the chart. Alright. Once the indicator is loaded on your Tradingview chart, it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have the current trading range, the premium and discount areas, and you're gonna have the change of character, the break of market structure, and the shift of market structure. This is the default settings that comes with the indicator when you load it on your chart. However, as you can see, there are tons of different valuable features within this indicator, and I'm gonna go over them step by step. Alright, the first section of the setting panel is about the current range, and the current range is this feature. We have the lower range line, we have the upper range line, we have the premium area, we have the discount area, and we have the mid area. And you can disable and enable the current range. You can enable the range lines, set the color and the width. You can also enable and disable the discount premium areas. And we also have included a predictive range feature that basically predict the next potential range. So in this case, our algorithm have predicted that the price have a high likelihood to reach this premium area and have a high likelihood to reach this discount area. So the predictive range feature is really valuable if you want to plan your trades ahead and see where price may go to. It's a really cool feature. And we also have this show previous ranges that basically enables you to backtest the ranges. And this value is just the number of bars the range should have been confirmed. So in this case, the previous range will only be plotted if the range have been valid for 10 bars. So that is the current range settings. Let's move on to the market structure settings, and the first setting is about the structure points, which are those lower high and lower low and lower high points. And a low value returns a short-term structure, and a high value returns the long-term structure. Then we have included fractals, which are those green and red diamonds. And basically, fractals are the main component how we calculate the current structure and the current range. So advanced smart money concept traders gonna love this feature. Then we have the market structure trend with either slow or fast setting, and this is a simple way of confirming the current market structure. So if you are new to smart money concept and want that extra confirmation that you are trading in the direction of the trend, you should enable this market structure trend feature. Alright, let's go over the main structure, and as default we can see that the structure adjusts itself to potential VIX, and that is the most correct way of reading the current market structure, and that is why it's set to default. And we can have a look on this example. We can see that this line is slightly offset, and that is because the structure take this wick into account, and the structure is first broken once close breaks below the low of this wick. And if we uncheck this option, the structure will only consider closing prices. So we can see that the structure becomes a bit more narrowed in this case. However, we recommend you to leave this as default. And basically we have the change of character, we have the shift in market structure or of market structure, and we have the break of market structure. And this is basically the lines that are plotted on the chart. Then we have the internal structure that works basically the same as the main structure. However, the main difference is that the internal structure happens within the current range. So we can see those small dashed lines, and that is basically an internal break of structure. So in this case we have the m-CHoCH, the minor change of character, we have the minor shift of market structure, and we have the minor break of market structure. So that is basically the difference between the main structure and the internal structure. The internal structure does only work within the current trading range. And we have this confirmed internal structure value. That is basically a way of only displaying the internal structure when the trading range is confirmed. So the value of 5 means that the current trading range has to be confirmed in at least 5 bars before the internal structure can be plotted. Alright, let's move on to order blocks, and we have 2 order blocks included in this indicator. We have our real-time order blocks and we have our momentum order blocks. And the real-time order blocks are those boxes that are displayed on the chart. And basically we have 2 values, and the first value is about how much market structure there is when the order block is formed. So a low value requires less market structure and a high value requires more market structure. So a low value is equal to more order blocks and a high value is equal to fewer order blocks. Then we have a significant value which basically sets how significant the order block should be. A high value returns more significant order blocks and a low value returns less significant order blocks. And we can see how accurate those order blocks are. Then we have our momentum order blocks that are based on momentum, and they look like this on the chart. Labels are plotted. What you have to do is that you manually can draw a box from the high to the low of that candle, and boom, you have your order block for the future. And we have 2 values as well, and the first value is similar to this one. It's about how much structure there is when the order block is formed, and this significant value sets how significant the order block should be. So a low value returns more order blocks and high value returns fewer order blocks. We have also included show previous order block, and that is if you want to backtest how the order blocks has performed in history. Alright, let's move on to our fair value gap feature, and basically this feature plots fair value gaps for you on the chart. However, we have included a cool and a useful feature that will filter out many bad fair value gaps for you. And basically it's this filter, the significance filter, and if you increase this value, the code will only display the most significant fair value gaps on the chart, and if you lower this value, you will get more and less significant fair value gaps. And you can filter out even more if you enable this option, show significant fair value gap, and then will the code only look for the most significant fair value gaps. So in this way you can actually filter out many bad fair value gaps and only display the most accurate. And all fair value gaps are filled at the midpoint. You can also backtest the fair value gap by enabling this option. Then all historical fair value gaps will be plotted on the chart. Alright, let's go over our equal highs and low feature. And basically this feature plots equal highs and lows on the chart in real time for you. So in this case we can see that we have an equal low identified, then we get this liquidity grab or liquidity sweep below those equal lows, and this is a great trading setup. So with this feature enabled, you will be able to identify those kind of setups. And this precision value is just a way of setting how accurate the equal highs and lows should be. The value 1 returns the most accurate equals highs and low, and the value 0.1 returns less accurate but more equal highs and lows. Then we have this candle distance setting, which is basically a way of setting the number of bars where an equal high or low can occur. So in this case, it has to be at least 10 bars before the code starts to look for an equal high or low. And the maximum bars is 50 in this case. So an equal high and low has to be identified within 50 periods in this case. So if you set this to 1, the code will now look for equal highs and lows within 1 to 50 candles. So you can see that we got an equal high in this case right there. We got an equal low right there. So you can see that if you decrease this minimum value, more equal highs and lows are identified. Alright, let's look on our point of interest feature, which is a CME machine learning function that uses tons of data to calculate the point of interest. And a point of interest often is an area where price tends to come back to. And this feature may take a while to load, and that is because it uses tons of data. So I recommend that you enable this feature and let the indicator load, and then you take this line and just plot it on the same place, and then you can disable this feature and make the indicator load faster. But now you know where the point of interest is. And you can also enable how much historical data that should be used, and 1 is equal to less data, 2 is medium, and 3 is tons of data. And the more data, the more accurate the line will be. Let's have a look on our liquidity sweep grab feature that basically looks for areas where liquidity grab and sweeps are likely, as in this case. And those points are real time, so we can actually use them to identify real-time liquidity grabs. Really cool feature, and yeah, just enable it and you will be able to identify liquidity sweeps and grabs. Alright, let's go over our dashboard feature, and basically it displays a dashboard with a multi-time frame feature, and you can select the time frames you want, and this is the trend, the structured trend of that time frame. And we have also added this fair value gap stats. If you enable that one, make sure to enable the fair value gaps as well. Then you will get numbers where we clearly can see how many fair value gaps there are on the chart, and how many of them that have been filled, and how many of them that are still active. So in this way you can see how the fair value gaps has performed. So it's a cool feature to use together with the fair value gaps. Let's have a look on our alerts function, and basically you can combine any alert you want. Just check the boxes if you want to have a change of character, and if you want to be alerted if we get a liquidity grab, and if you want to be alerted if we get a break of market structure. So in this way you can set any type of combination. So it's a cool and useful feature to get alerted on specific conditions, and feel free to check how many you want. And if you want to display a custom alert message on top of the standard alert messages, you can just write that message here.